We're live now.
Okay. Well, welcome to episode 16 of TLC Tech Learn Coffee. I'm your host along with Nancy Minicozzi. My name is Lisa Nowakowski and I'm a fifth grade teacher in South Monterey County.
And I'm Nancy, an ed tech coach in Northwest LA County.
And just a reminder of our podcast focus, it's accessible on your schedule. So 15-minute format, in, out. Contact us if you want to address any specific topic or you know someone who would be a great guest. If you enjoy our podcast, and we hope you do, and we don't see why you wouldn't, please support us by subscribing to our YouTube channel. Just search for TLC Ninja Teachers. You can also look for us on iTunes, and while you're there, go ahead and rate us. The more ratings we have, the easier it is for others to find us.
All right. Well, if you are a regular listener of this podcast, you know that typically we have a random coffee fact to start things off. But today we're doing things a little differently because we like to change things up and in honor of tonight's guest. So today we have a random poutine fact. And if you're not familiar with poutine, it is fries with cheese curds and gravy. So they love that stuff up in Canada. It is the signature dish of the province of Quebec. It was invented in 1957, and now you can get it all around Canada in lots of varieties. And the reason we are bringing this up is because tonight's guest is Brian Costello, who I had the pleasure of meeting when we were both at the Toronto Google Innovator Academy. So he is going to be talking to us today about the Global Authentic Audience Project. So, Brian, tell us a little bit about yourself, who you are, and what you do.
All right. So thank you very much, Nancy, Lisa, for having me to talk about all the things that I do. I'm a middle school tech integration specialist. I have a fancier title than that, but I don't think I've ever used it. I put it in my email the first day I got it, and then I realized it's ridiculous. I'm a digital innovation specialist, which sounds really cool, but it really doesn't mean anything. So I work in Southern New Jersey. I spent the last 7 years working as a K1 and 2 teacher for a variety of different subjects. I taught science and math. And then this is my first year as a tech integration specialist. So really enjoying it, having a lot of fun with middle school kids. And the past year or two, I've been into a lot of different things, maker spaces and coding, and my new obsession with breakout games. But really the one thing I love the most is connecting kids with each other. So that kind of leads me right into what we're talking about tonight, what I came on to tell everybody about. So, yeah.
So, yeah, and you're a published author.
Yes. I have a chapter book for kids is Will McGill and the Magic Hat. The writing is pretty good, but the illustrations with a woman I worked with when I worked in my old school, Building Nicosia, are incredible. They really bring the story to life. It was one of those life goals. I'd love to write more of them, but I keep always finding new things that I'm interested in. So it's hard to figure out what I'm going to do next because there's always new things. And now I have this really big thing that I'm working on. So yeah, the book is great. You can get on Amazon, you can get on CreateSpace, you can buy it from me personally. I sign them and then the value goes down. So, so I tell people, because when I sell them in person, I don't necessarily try to make any extra money off of them. So when I sign it, they get it for less usually than when they just buy it online.
Well, good to know. I'll be sure to be asking you for an autograph copy soon. So tell us about the Global Authentic Audience Project.
Yeah, absolutely. So first off, we rebranded, courtesy of my innovator coach, Donnie Piercy, who suggested I drop the audience or the authentic part just because it was easier for the website, and it flows a little nicer. So we're now the Global Audience Project, and basically the goal for us is for us. I always say us as if it's a multiple person thing, but really it's just me right now. But the goal is to make it really easy for anybody to find a way to connect their kids with other kids. So whether you have projects that you want to share or whether you want to observe other kids' projects, the idea is that instead of making it difficult, instead of it being difficult, instead of you have to go out and find people, we find the people. The project finds the people. We recruit the projects. We look for people to share, and then you can just go on and find them, or you can go on and share, and someone will find you. That's the idea, being that we can help people make it easy, just like searching on Google or searching on Pinterest or something for an idea for your classroom. This is just go on and look, and there's some search tools that make it easy for you to find what you're looking for.
So how did you get started? What made you want to do this?
So the first time my kids ever talked to somebody from another school, from another state, it was the greatest thing I think ever. I had a few kids in my class for lunch because I always eat lunch with my first and second grade kids, and I was testing it out. I was testing out an opportunity for my kids to have a book read to them by Corey Graham, who is this great program called Corey Tellers, where she read with different people from around the country and around the world, which really inspired a lot of the things that I did going forward from there. And that piece, my kids were totally enamored with this. One, because she was reading Winnie the Pooh, and they thought it was hilarious to hear her say poo. And the other thing was because she was a real live person who lived in Minnesota, and that was halfway across the country. And she was right there in front of them on the screen, talking to them back and forth like we are now. And that totally blew their minds. So, that year I did a lot of reading projects. We did Read Across America. We had different teachers come on and read for my kids all the way across the country. And then the following year I thought, well, I have to teach second grade social studies. This is going to be horrible. That was really my thought, this is going to be so boring. Not just for the kids, but for me, because it's really about communities, and how many times can you talk about communities before you get tired of it? So my thought was, well, what if we really talked to the communities? What if we actually had conversations with kids who lived in other parts of the country and other parts of the world? So that's what we did. To talk about the different types of communities, we talked to people from them, which was an incredible project. My kids learned a ton, and long story short, we put that project together, and I ended up getting it presented at ISTE last summer in Denver. And that's kind of where this whole project started from, because as I gave this poster session at ISTE and I talked to probably 100 different teachers at least, they all had the same question. Where did you find the classes? Where did you find classes to connect your kids with? How did you do it? And when my answer was Twitter, you got that look of, oh, okay. Like, that was it. It was over. They were done. They weren't going to do it. They weren't going to connect their kids. They weren't going to provide them with the opportunity. And it wasn't because it was not worthwhile. It wasn't because they didn't think it was interesting. It was because it required them to develop a large number of connections in order to meet the people they needed to do it. And I thought, well, that can't be a good enough way to do this. That can't be the only way to find people. Because the value of it for my kids was just far too great. And the value of it for other kids is far too great to just let it go, to just let people have that reaction, that deflated reaction of, oh, I can't do this. So how can we make it easy? Well, people want ideas. They go to Google and they search, right? Project for blank, and then it pops up. Well, what if connecting with classes was like that? What if, you wanted to learn about space? And that last year, I had one great example of this, which really made me push through this, is my kids talked to Corey's class again, and one of her classes was doing presentations on planets, and my class was learning about space at the same time. So they were really interested in the topic because it was something relevant to them. So the crossover was beautiful, and they learned a lot. It was valuable for the class who was presenting the projects, it just worked out really well. And I was like, well, this is the height of connecting your class, because now we've talked to this class more than once. They're interested in sharing projects with us. We're sharing projects with them. My kids wanted to share their projects that they had made on satellites. So, that's kind of where it was born. And when I had the opportunity to go to Toronto to work with all the incredible people with the Innovator program, it really, elevated my thought process of what it really could be, to the point where I wanted to make this, I want to make this a huge thing, not just a little idea, but something that everybody can go to. And, the average teacher who's not comfortable with technology can walk right into it and say, okay, I can do this.
So how does that work? We've got about 5 minutes left. Well, 4 minutes left. How does it work?
I told you.
Well,
I told you have to keep.
We'll have to come up. Part B. Next week, more Brian Costello. So how does it work, and how can listeners get involved?
All right. So I'm gonna show you the website right now. Just give me a second. I'll load it up. So what I'm going to do is show you that this is globalaudienceproject.com, where you can take a look at a number of different things. You can share one of your projects. So basically, if you want to share a project, all you do is fill out a simple form. What's your project's name, topic, email address. I'll probably change this a little bit as we go forward, as I see some things that people are looking for. One of the things I had heard from was language, to share different languages. Actually, I just added that one. So, I did that the other day. I didn't even realize it, that I had changed it. So all you have to do is fill it in. It takes 30 seconds. If you want to find a project, here's our database. It's not big right now. We have 11 projects in, but you see this is the topic. There's some really cool projects on here right now. And one of the things I wanted to stress is it doesn't have to be the coolest, most amazing project you have. The value of getting your kids an authentic audience, so somebody to share their work with, is so great that even if it's just an average project that you're not thinking this is incredible, but don't worry about being judged. Worry about what your kids are going to get out of the experience. So there's some phenomenal projects here. So let's say you love this project and you decide you want to be a part of it. So there's that person's email. You just email that teacher and let them know, hey, I want to be a part of it. And then from there, it's up to the two of you to work out between the two of you, because I don't want to be in charge of dictating, how you connect or who what times you connect. That's for you all to work out. You can sort by topic. You can sort by grade level. You can type in a specific name, or you can sort by time frame. All those things are available. So basically what you have to do is just go on and take a look. Now, if you're somebody who's not comfortable with using the technology, I've already got 12 people signed up who are interested in helping others. So they'll tell you what they're comfortable with, different activities that they're good at, or different apps and tools to connect that they're good with. And you can go ahead and connect with them to get some help, to test out. And I test out the services, the products, before you actually have to use them for real. Or just to walk you through, so maybe you don't feel uncomfortable with the person that you're connecting with. How do you get involved? Just go ahead and share something. Don't be afraid to put it out there and find something that looks interesting to you or your kids that's going to be relevant. Because all it takes is a webcam and a microphone and a willingness to give your students a chance to experience some other things outside of their own world. That was really the greatest benefit for my kids when they started connecting with classes all over, was there's so much out there that they didn't know about. There's so many types of people. I'm already over my time. Look at that. Time's up. I'll finish the sentence and then I'll get out, and then I'll cut it off.
Well, you get time to pull it together with a couple of closing sentences.
Pulling it together. So there's so much out there. There's so many amazing people in the world and so many different cultural experiences. And my kids never could go to most of my kids never got to go to any of those things. So the best way we could do it was to bring as much of that to them as possible, to open their world up, let them know what's possible. And if you have kids in your classroom, a lot of them don't have the opportunity to see the world, but the world's out there and we can bring it to them. So engage in those experiences, give them opportunities that otherwise they couldn't have. That's what the technology is able to do for them. So, take hold of that opportunity and use it to make a difference for your kids, to open up their lives a little bit, let them see what there is out there in the world.
Well, that is terrific. Thank you so much for being our guest. And
Thank you.
We have redesigned the website a little bit, so we have show notes now. We're very excited about them. They're almost all up there, but when we post Brian's episode, they'll be there. So if you want links to the Global Audience Project or any of the things, any of Brian's contact information, it will all be up there. Thank you very much for listening. If you enjoyed the show, please leave us a comment to let us know. And if you're watching us live on YouTube, please subscribe to get the latest updates.
Thank you very much, Lisa and Nancy, for having me on. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you. And remember, we're always looking for guests to share the great things that you're doing in your classrooms. So if you know someone who fits that bill, or if it's even you, please feel free to contact us, and we'd love to chat with you and share your greatness.
Okay.